Snark Squad, babes. It's finale night. And babes, we need to talk about what happened. Like the spiked mango lemonade, back. The villainous feelings, back. And babes, we are locked in, ready to crown a champion.
Oh, we are completely locked in. I mean, we made it to the finish line, and the wait is finally, mercifully over.
Right. Let's be clear. We have been loving this season. Like, Kate, New York, Tom, babes, this cast brought it.
They did. They really, truly did. Like, if you zoom out and look at the entire architectural structure of Season 3, the sheer, unadulterated chaos level was simply unmatched.
Unmatched, totally unhinged.
Exactly. I mean, I've been analyzing reality television for a long time, and the pettiness this cast delivered belongs in a museum. If I'm ranking the top moments of the entire season, the death of the bromance between Tyson and Paul has to be at the very top.
Oh my God, yeah.
It wasn't just a betrayal, you know? It was a Shakespearean tragedy performed by people with terrible spray tans.
Stop it. I am still emotionally recovering from that. I think I'm literally still unwell from that episode.
It was rough.
So rough. When Christine won the supervillain title, meaning she held the absolute terrifying power of the house in her manicured hands, and she just mercilessly put Tyson up for banishment.
Ruthless. Simply ruthless.
And the vote to kick him out was unanimous. I was screaming. I was pacing my living room like a madwoman.
Oh, I believe it.
I was yelling at my television like, the bromance is dead, love is dead, villainy is alive and breathing.
It was a masterclass in mob mentality. And let's not gloss over the absolute biohazardous nightmare of the spitting venom challenge from last week.
Ugh. Do we have to?
We do, because I am still physically ill thinking about the fluid dynamics of that game. You have full-grown adults launching saliva across a courtyard.
I literally had to watch that challenge through my fingers. Like, disgusting. Iconic, but utterly disgusting.
It's high art, babes. High art.
Well, tonight, we raise a glass to all our Snark queens and kings. Because, babes, we are devious. Cheers.
Cheers, bestie. Clink.
So we did something different tonight. We went to a watch party at a friend's house. And, babes, it was a hoot.
A hoot, a holler, and a psychological crisis all rolled into one.
Huh.
Literally.
Honestly, watching this show in a room full of reality TV superfans completely rewires your brain. You suddenly realize how unhinged we all are as a collective.
The vibe. Immaculate. The setup. Perfection. Imagine 15 people all screaming at a massive flat screen.
Just absolute chaos.
Right. Wearing various forms of faux fur, animal prints, and oversized sunglasses indoors. The energy was so chaotic, I thought someone was going to actually flip the coffee table before Joel McHale even introduced the first commercial break.
The collective gasp that rippled through that living room during the final hit list, I mean, I thought the drywall was going to crack.
Seriously?
But the real mess, the real unadulterated drama wasn't even happening on the television screen.
Oh my God, no. We weren't just watching. Oh no. We were playing messy games, like Truth Box. And babes, things were revealed.
I will never, and I mean never, be able to look at half of our friend group the same way again.
Yeah.
I am traumatized by what was on those slips of paper. Traumatized. When the host pulled out the question, who in this room is most likely to gaslight their partner about a credit card bill?
Yeah.
And literally everyone wrote the exact same name.
I am sweating just remembering it.
The tension.
Yeah.
The sheer, unapologetic villainy in that living room. We were acting like we were the ones competing for the $200,000.
Well, I wrote the name in permanent marker so I couldn't be pressured into erasing it. You have to commit to the shade.
You really do.
And then there was the question about who would be the first to sell out the group chat to a significant other. The way people started fiercely defending their loyalty, it was like a tribunal.
I felt personally attacked by that one, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We survived, barely. But food and drink check. Because, babes, the spread... elite.
The elite doesn't even begin to cover it. We had the spiked mango lemonade flowing like a literal river. Whoever mixed that pitcher has a heavy, heavy pour.
Heavy pour, zero regrets. We had themed snacks. We had a charcuterie board that looked like a crime scene in the best way possible.
It was a beautiful massacre of cheeses.
And for the record, I made the BBQ pulled pork sliders, and not a single person pulled at Tiffany Pollard and refused to eat my BBQ.
I mean, Tiffany refusing Drita's BBQ earlier this season was a culturally significant moment in television history.
It really was.
It was a declaration of war over smoked meats. But your sliders were safe. No one threw them at the wall.
Thank you. I take my pork very seriously. Let's be honest. We may not be real-life villains. We are dentists.
Polite, law-abiding dentists.
Right. We spend our days politely asking people to floss. Biggs, this little meetup was messy as hell, and we loved every second.
We lived for it. Okay, but we need to get into the actual finale now because I have a terrifying amount of notes.
Bring out the notes.
I was sitting at that party drawing strategic flowcharts on a cocktail napkin. We need to dissect the ultimate backstab and the landslide victory.
Let's get into it. The finale setup, we have our final 5. The bromance alliance is dead, buried, and decomposing.
May it rest in pieces.
Tyson was unanimously banished. So we are left with Paul, Kate, New York, Drita, and Christine.
The psychological state of these 5 people going into this finale is fascinating, you know?
Oh, completely.
You have Kate, who has basically weaponized her own apathy. Like, she refuses to even pretend to care about anyone's feelings.
Iconic behavior.
And then you have New York, who is just operating on a higher astral plane of existence, fully aware she is the main character of reality television.
Yeah, she should be.
Then there's Paul, sweating pure adrenaline, calculating odds in his head. Christine has coasted for weeks, but is suddenly waking up to the fact that there's a giant check at the end of this.
Better late than never.
And Drita. Drita is just cooking pasta and making everyone deeply, fundamentally terrified of crossing her.
Exactly. The tension is thick. So we go right into the Battle Royale challenge. Joel McHale, looking absolutely fabulous in that suit, by the way, brings them out to the arena.
A very sharp suit.
Very sharp. And babes, it's the screw challenge.
Okay, for anyone who missed the sheer mechanical cruelty of this game, let's break it down.
Please do.
Joel places the final 5 on these giant, suspended, spinning screws hanging over a foam pit. It's a pure endurance challenge. Just hold on to the threads of the screw for your life as it rotates. If you fall, you lose.
It looked exhausting. My arms were burning just watching them on the couch.
Oh, my core ached just looking at it. But then Joel introduces the twist. The glorious, vindictive, petty twist.
The best kind of twist.
The 6 eliminated contestants return to the lair.
Sweet, sweet revenge. The doors open and in walk the ghosts of backstab's past. I was losing my mind.
They were hungry for camera time and they were thirsty for blood.
So thirsty.
Joel reveals that these eliminated villains aren't just there to watch. They hold physical buttons. At any point, they can sabotage the final 5 by pressing a button to make a specific person's screw spin radically faster.
Essentially throwing them off into the pit.
Exactly.
It was pure spite. A battle royale of petty revenge. Everyone gets targeted immediately, like poor Kate. Kate gets hit twice.
Oh, it was brutal.
Ashley hits her button, and then Tom Sandoval hits her button.
Which is poetic justice in its purest form. Kate made absolutely 0 effort to hide her complete disdain for Tom all season long.
Not at all.
She treated him like gum on her shoe. So him spinning her out of the game was the most predictable trajectory ever. You cannot treat people like garbage and then expect them not to press the button when they are handed the button.
Fair, fair. And then Paul. Paul gets sabotaged by Tyson, which obviously because Paul completely betrayed the bromance and sent Tyson packing.
The ultimate betrayal.
And then Jackie hits him too.
Jackie hitting Paul was phenomenal television. She's just vibing, having a great time, wearing a fabulous outfit, and she just casually ruins his grip strength.
Just casually.
And of course, New York gets targeted by Johnny.
And Christine gets sabotaged by Plain Jane.
Yeah.
Which we need to talk about because Plain Jane felt so incredibly betrayed by Christine earlier in the season.
Oh, she never forgot that.
Never. It was karma coming back around to spin her into a pit.
Now, this is the exact moment where the analytical side of my brain started flashing red warning lights. Sirens were going off in my head.
Wait, really? What did you see?
As I was watching them all spin, I noticed a glaring, massive neon red flag. Did you catch it?
That everyone was complaining about their hands blistering?
No! Look at the board! Drita was the only Elite A person who did not get sabotaged.
Wait.
Not a single eliminated player hit Drita's button.
Oh my God. You are right. I completely missed that.
Think about the mechanics of what just happened. 6 eliminated players, all of whom have been voted out, all of whom are bitter, return with the literal power to punish anyone still in the game.
Yep.
And absolutely no one touches the mob wife. Her home-cooked meals, her quiet background game, her sheer, intimidating, unwavering loyalty, it paid off in real time.
That is insane.
In that exact second, every single person left hanging on a screw, Paul, Christine, Kate, should have had an epiphany. They should have realized that Drita's the biggest threat in this entire house.
Because if they won't even sabotage her in a challenge, they definitely won't vote against her in the end.
Exactly. If a jury of petty, vindictive villains likes her enough or fears her enough to spare her the sabotage, they will absolutely hand her the $200,000 on a silver platter.
Yeah.
She is untouchable.
My mind is blown. I was just screaming at the TV when Kate fell first. After getting screwed twice, her screw was spinning like a helicopter blade, and my girl flew off into the foam. I was devastated.
It was a brutal fall. Then New York's grip gives out and she drops.
Tragic.
Then Paul finally succumbs to gravity and drops, which leaves us with a 40-minute head-to-head showdown between Drita and Christine.
40 minutes.
Oh.
Hanging onto a giant spinning piece of metal over a pit. I complain when my electric toothbrush runs for more than 2 minutes.
It was a true test of sheer will. And Christine pulls it off. She outlasts Drita.
I was shocked.
Her second Battle Royale victory in a row. I have to give credit where it is due, even if I question her overall strategy.
You too.
She went from being completely clueless at the start of the season, literally wandering around the house like she didn't know what network she was on, to delivering back-to-back clutch athletic wins when it actually mattered.
Better late than never, I guess.
Yeah.
But the moment she wins, this is where my heart started palpitating.
Oh, here we go.
The adrenaline is pumping, they are lowering the screws, and Christine literally turns to Drita while they're still wiping the sweat off their foreheads and says, "We're in the final 3.
A classic, fatal rookie mistake.
So bad.
You never, ever promise anything in a game of deception before you've actually assessed the board and looked at your options.
But they were hugging, they were crying. Drita fully 100% believes she is safe.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Because as we know, the mechanic of the game is that Christine, as the Battle Royale winner, gets to choose one person to bring with her to the finale. The other 3 go to the hit list to fight it out in a redemption challenge.
Right. And enter Paul.
Oh my God, Paul. The devil works hard, but Paul works harder.
Paul is basically a walking whiteboard of strategy. He realizes his neck is on the chopping block, so he pulls Christine aside into a quiet room in the lair.
Yeah, mastermind.
And he lays out the most compelling, ruthlessly logical argument of the entire season. It's like he's playing chess on a board where everyone else is playing dodgeball.
Literally.
He sits her down and says, "Christine, listen to me very carefully. Bringing Drita to a jury vote is a guaranteed loss."
He was spitting straight facts. Yep. I was nodding along with him like I was part of the alliance.
It was absolute, undeniable logic. He points out that Drita has spent the entire season cooking, cleaning, being everyone's pseudo-mom, and never betraying a single soul.
Not a single one.
She is universally liked and respected. Paul tells Christine, you cannot bring a universally liked, intensely loyal person to face a bitter jury of villains. It's game over. They will write her name down before Joel even finishes asking the question.
Paul was in her ear like a little strategic devil. He planted the seed. And Christine, she actually listened to him.
Which brings us to the hit list ceremony, the climax of the episode.
The ultimate blindside. I was hyperventilating at the watch party. Like someone literally spilled their spiked mango lemonade all over my friend's vintage rug. It was pandemonium.
Paint the picture. Set the scene of the room for me.
Okay, so Christine is sitting on her supervillain throne, looking absolutely fabulous, lips perfectly glossed, posture immaculate.
Naturally.
And she has to look these 4 people in the eye and name 3 to go to the redemption challenge. The first name, she says, New York.
Entirely expected. And New York, true to form, gave a rousing, theatrical, incredibly loud speech that essentially guaranteed her a contract for season 4.
Obviously. We need New York back every single season until the end of time. She is the blueprint. So then Christine says the second name, Paul.
Also expected, despite his brilliant pitch, Paul's entire alliance, the remnants of the bromance, is sitting in the jury. Bringing him to the final would be a massive, incalculable risk because he automatically has a locked voting block. So putting him in the redemption challenge makes total strategic sense.
But then, the final name. Christine looks dead ahead. The camera zooms in, and she names Dr. Ida.
Gasps, audible gasps, echoing across the nation.
The audacity, the sheer unadulterated audacity of this woman. Literally 2 hours ago, they were crying in each other's arms, promising to go to the end together.
I know.
And Christine just throws her right onto the bus, puts her in reverse, backs up, and runs her over again.
It was magnificent television. But from a structural, psychological standpoint, it was a mess.
A total mess.
Christine immediately realizes the gravity of what she just did, and she tries to soften the blow. She gives this wishy-washy, incredibly weak explanation like, "Oh, Drita, I'm putting you on the hit list because I'm so confident in your abilities. I know you'll win the redemption challenge and earn your spot back."
The fakest, most cowardly excuse I have ever heard in my life. If you're going to stab someone, stab them. Don't tell them it's acupuncture. And Drita. Drita did not take it well. Peak mobwives energy was activated in a millisecond.
The switch flipped. The alligator jaws snapped shut.
Drita looks at her. The maternal warmth completely vanishes from her eyes, and she goes, "Aw, F." She says, and I quote, "Play your little safe space. Drive your little Lambo. You ain't getting fucking $200,000.
Chills. Absolute bone-deep chills.
Screaming. My soul left my body. Drita openly, directly to her face, promises to poison the entire jury against her.
She did.
She basically says, because you screwed me over, I'm going to make sure none of my friends on that jury give you a single dime. It was a blood oath on national television.
And the most incredible part of this entire sequence, the editor's choice to cut to Kate.
Kate, standing there like she just won the lottery.
Kate is just standing off to the side, completely stunned, the cogs slowly turning in her head as she realizes that Christine's cold-blooded betrayal of Drita means Kate just earned a free, uncontested ticket into the final three.
Unbelievable.
She didn't have to win the challenge. She didn't have to politics. She just slid right in through the side door while the house burned down.
Good for her. Honestly, icons only. Let the girls fight while you secure the bag. But now we have the redemption challenge for that final spot in the finale. Drita, Paul, and New York fighting for their lives.
Welcome to the Backstabbies.
The best challenge design of the entire season. Joel McHale hosts this fake, incredibly shady award show. It's like the Emmys, but for terrible, narcissistic people.
It was the perfect House of Villains mechanic to test them right before the end. To win, they had to guess the House's majority vote on a series of shady superlatives.
So shady.
It tested their social awareness. It essentially asked, do you actually know how these people view each other, or are you living in your own delusion?
Okay, let's break down these categories because I was dying. First one, worst challenge partner. Everyone, and I mean everyone in that house, including herself, voted for New York.
It was a completely unanimous consensus.
New York literally admitted on camera that she was throwing challenges because her fake eyelashes were too heavy and getting in her eyes. She couldn't see.
I mean, you have to respect the commitment to glamour, but as a strategic asset in a physical competition.
Zero.
She is a liability, a hilarious, deeply entertaining liability, but a liability nonetheless.
Next category, most likely to buy followers.
Oh, this is where the meta-commentary of reality television gets so incredibly rich. The House definitively votes for Tom Sandoval.
Which is funny, considering his reputation. But Plain Jane pointed out the real T in the background. Tom has, what, 1 million followers?
Give or take, yes.
Plain Jane points out that Christine has 4.4 million followers. And the shade of it all, Jane is heavily implying that Christine's followers are all bots.
I mean, if we are looking at this logically, in the reality TV influencer space, amassing 4.4 million highly engaged followers is a steep climb.
Very steep.
But the House's perception of Sandoval's vanity, the trumpets, the karaoke band, the sheer ego, won out over the mathematical suspicion of Christine's follower count. They voted based on vibes, not data.
It was so funny. Then we get to biggest crybaby.
This was a crucial question because it highlighted a massive flaw in Paul's game. Paul guesses Ashley.
Right.
Because Paul was physically present in the room when Ashley was having her emotional moments earlier in the season. He approached the question literally and logically.
But Drita, self-aware queen, Drita correctly guesses herself. She knows she pops off. She knows she yells and screams and cries over loyalty.
It shows exactly why Drita is dangerous. She understands her own edit within the house. She knows exactly how people perceive her emotional outbursts.
So smart.
Paul was entirely blind to the overarching house dynamics. He couldn't read the room if the room was covered in neon signs.
Then we get to can't land a joke, and everyone says Tyson.
Now, I have to stop you here because I must vehemently push back on the house's assessment of Tyson.
Wait, really? You are going to defend Tyson's comedy routine? I was cringing.
Tyson is objectively funny. His dry, deadpan, sarcastic dad jokes are a very specific brand of humor. The problem isn't the jokes. The problem is the audience.
I don't know about that.
He was delivering that humor to a house full of reality stars who take themselves entirely too seriously. Yeah. If a person has zero capacity for self-deprecation, a Tyson joke is going to feel like a personal insult, not a punchline.
Okay.
His jokes didn't land because he was doing sophisticated crowd work in a room full of egomaniacs.
Okay, I hear your defense of the dad jokes, but he still lost the category. The house hated it. And then the final game-ending question. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Who is the fakest in the house?
The $200,000 question. This decided everything.
New York guesses Plain Jane. Which, okay, I see the logic. Plain Jane is literally a drag queen covered in intense makeup and padding. It's a literal constructed persona.
It's a physical disguise, yes. On paper, New York's literal interpretation of the word fake tracks perfectly.
But T. Drita writes down Christine.
Pure, unadulterated, scorching hot revenge for the blindside that happened literally 5 minutes prior.
And the House agreed. The House voted Christine as the fakest.
Which is absolutely devastating for Christine's long-term game. Her master plan to cut Drita completely spectacularly backfired.
It really did.
Not only does Drita beat New York 5-2 in points and get her spot back in the final 3, BUT Christine gets publicly officially called out for being fake by the entire jury right before they have to vote for a winner.
It's so bad.
It was a strategic double whammy. It destroyed her credibility.
It was a disaster. And Paul completely flopped the whole trivia game. Always a runner-up, never a winner. Banished to the jury. So our final 3 is officially locked. Kate, Drita, and Christine.
Which brings us to the final jury vote, the absolute circus of the finale.
We have to talk about Christine's speech to the jury. Because it was a flop. It was so hard to watch.
It was a monumental, historic flop. If you are going to pull the biggest, most villainous backstab of the season by cutting your loyal maternal friend at the 11th hour, you have to own it.
Yes.
You have to stand at that podium in front of that jury and say, I am a shark. I did what I had to do to win, and I severed the biggest threat in this game because I want the money.
You have to embrace the dark side.
Yeah.
But she didn't. She cried. She undersold it.
Pitiful.
She was up there trembling like, oh, it was so hard. I really didn't want to do it. My hand slipped, and I accidentally put you on the hit list. You cannot claim the villain crown if you are profusely apologizing for the blood dripping from your hands.
Exactly. It completely neutralized the one major strategic move she made all season. She couldn't own her villainy, and you could physically see the jury lose respect for her in real time. They were rolling their eyes.
And then there's Kate, my girl Kate. The absolute stubborn refusal to play the game.
Kate is a fascinating case study in anti-strategy.
In her speech, she literally boasts to the jury about outcompeting everyone without ever having a firm alliance. She is intensely proud of the fact that she didn't suck up to a single person sitting in those chairs.
But here is the most incredible behind-the-scenes detail that leaked into the edit. The fourth wall completely, entirely shatters. A producer literally pulls Kate aside right before the vote.
I was screaming at the television. You never see that.
The producer is begging her, visibly pleading with her in the hallway. Kate, you have to campaign. Just go talk to Tom and Tyson, ask for their votes, give us something to work with.
So desperate.
The production team needed a close vote for the narrative tension of the finale, and Kate was actively, stubbornly sabotaging their climax.
And Kate flatly refuses. She looks the producer in the eye and says she will not be fake. She will not beg people she hates for money.
Incredible.
Peak villain energy, honestly, to just be like, no, I don't care about $200,000 enough to pretend I tolerate Tom Sandoval.
It's an incredible flex of ego. But in a game decided by a jury of massive, fragile egos, refusing to stroke those egos is a definitive death sentence.
Definitely.
You are asking narcissists to reward you for ignoring them. It defies the laws of human psychology.
Which leaves the door wide open for Drita.
Drita walks through that door and leans all the way into her gangster loyalty narrative. She doesn't talk about complex strategy. She doesn't list off challenge wins.
No, she keeps it real.
She talks about being real. She reminds them that she never lied, she never backstabbed, and if she had an issue with you, she told you directly to your face before she voted you out.
And the jury ate it up with a spoon. Drita wins in a landslide, 7-1.
The biggest landslide in the show's history. It wasn't even competitive.
New York is the only person who throws a rogue vote to Christine, and New York specifically stated it was because she was salivating over the cutthroat backstab. She respected the absolute messiness of betraying your best friend.
Which is very on brand for New York. She appreciates the theatricality of a betrayal.
And Kate. Mother Kate gets 0 votes. 0. Unbelievable. So Drita is crowned America's ultimate supervillain and walks away with a giant check for $200K.
Okay. We've laid out the facts. We've relived the trauma of the challenges. But now we have to pivot. Let's talk about the aftermath, because, do we have a problem?
We have a massive problem.
Let's unpack the structural integrity of this show, because the Reddit forums are literally on fire right now. The fan base is revolting.
The Snark squad is in shambles. I am in shambles. Here is the fundamental issue that is driving me insane. Like, the most villainous person never wins this show.
It's an undeniable pattern at this point.
It is a disease. Look at the history. Season 1, Tanisha beat Johnny bananas. Johnny was running circles around everyone strategically. He was pulling strings.
True.
Season 2, Safari beat Wes. Wes is a literal mastermind. He treats reality TV like a science. And now, Drita beats Kate.
Let's explore the central tension here, which is strategy versus entertainment. The players who provide the most entertainment and the most complex strategy are consistently punished by the final mechanic.
I am pissed. I am emotionally invested, and I am raging about this. Kate was robbed. Put it on a t-shirt. Print the bumper stickers.
Okay.
Kate dominated this game from a survival standpoint. She broke up the ladies' alliance single-handedly with that diary chaos, which was a stroke of evil genius.
Just a good move.
She survived the hit list twice when she was a massive glowing target. She outlasted the entire bromance.
She did. Her resume on paper is highly impressive. She has the statistics of a winner.
But the show has become RuPaul's best friend race. It's just a popularity contest. Drita coasted her way to the end by being a mom who cooks pasta. That is not a villain.
That's a bit harsh.
That is a caterer. We were watching a show called House of Villains, and the winner is the person who made the best meatballs. It's absurd.
Okay. Breathe. Take a deep breath. Take a long sip of your spiked mango lemonade. Lower your blood pressure.
I'm trying.
I am going to push back on this heavily because, strategically speaking, I think you are entirely missing the forest for the trees.
Oh, really? Please, justify the caterer winning the villain show. Let's hear this strategic critique.
Jury management is the game. Full stop. End of sentence. You are playing a game called House of Villains. Everyone in that house is a self-identified, ego-driven, deeply petty, narcissistic villain.
Obviously.
If you betray a narcissist, do you really genuinely expect them to reward you for it at the end? Do you think a room full of villains has the emotional maturity to say, wow, you stabbed me in the back so brilliantly, here's a check?
But they should respect the game. They know what show they signed up for.
Villains don't respect the game when the game makes them look stupid.
Yeah.
You cannot out-villain villains and expect a pat on the back. Drita didn't coast.
She kind of did, though.
To call her a caterer is incredibly reductive. She played a highly sophisticated Siri from Survivor-style social game. She aligned with people. She stayed fiercely loyal to her core group. She let other people like Christine and Paul get the actual blood on their hands.
Yeah, that's true.
And she made absolutely sure everyone felt good about her presence in the house. It is brilliant Machiavellian social manipulation masquerading as maternal care. She weaponized motherhood to make herself bulletproof.
I hate that you are making sense right now. I want to be mad, but you are bringing up psychological warfare.
It's true. If you know the jury is going to be incredibly bitter, which, again, they are professional villains, of course they are bitter, the only winning strategy is to make sure they aren't bitter at you.
Right.
Drita solved the puzzle. Kate tried to force the pieces together with a hammer. Fine.
You win the psychological debate. But if that's how they're going to vote every single season, then fixing the format is mandatory. We have to change the voting system, or else the actual masterminds will stop trying.
That's a valid concern.
Reddit has ideas, and I'm listening to them.
Let's evaluate the proposed solutions. What's the leading theory to fix the finale?
Idea number 1, a fan vote. We watch the whole season, we see all the diary room confessions, we see the real backstabs, and America texts in who the ultimate villain is.
Absolutely not. I reject that entirely.
Hannah, the fans know who the real villains are.
A fan vote ruins the internal pressure cooker of the house dynamics. If these people know America is voting, they will immediately stop playing the game and just start playing to the cameras.
That's true.
They will try to be internet darlings. They won't actually backstab each other because they'll be terrified of getting canceled on Twitter. The entire beauty, the sheer terror of the jury vote is that they have to physically face the people they screwed over. You remove the jury, you remove the consequences.
Okay, fair point. A fan vote would just turn it into a TikTok popularity contest.
Oh!
Then what about idea number 2? The prisoner's dilemma.
Oh, this is a fascinating concept. Walk through the mechanics of how that would work for a reality finale.
Okay, so picture this. The final 3 are standing there at their podiums. The jury is sitting across from them, but the jury doesn't vote for a winner. Instead, the final three have to secretly lock in a choice to either steal or share the $200,000.
Okay, tracking.
If they all choose to share, they split the money evenly. If one person chooses to steal and the others share, the one who steals takes the entire pot. But if they all choose to steal, the money gets distributed to the eliminated jury members.
That is beautifully diabolical. That is game theory at its finest.
Right. And the best part is, during the finale episode, the bitter jury members get to spend the entire hour aggressively trying to manipulate the final three into all stealing.
Oh, the chaos.
The jury wants the money, so they try to sow paranoia among the finalists so that everyone hits steal and the jury snatches the bag.
See, that is a phenomenal fix. That injects actual villainy into the literal mechanics of the finale. It completely removes the popularity contest aspect of jury management and replaces it with pure greed, paranoia, and psychological manipulation.
It would be amazing.
I love that. Peacock, if you are listening, implement the prisoner's dilemma.
It would be so incredibly messy. Friendships would end on live television. Which actually brings me to a question I was thinking about while watching them hold that giant check.
Let's hear it.
Let's look at our final three. Who truly embodied the villain role? Let's just go off the dome. No notes, just raw opinions.
Let's start with Christine.
I have whiplash from Christine. I really do. She did the absolute most villainous textbook backstabby thing possible by cutting her best friend right before the end. That is supervillain 101.
It was the red wedding of reality TV. She slaughtered her closest ally.
Exactly. But then she immediately lost her villain card. She completely fumbled the bag. She cried about it.
That was weak.
She was apologizing to Drita in the lair. During her finale speech, she refused to own the blood on her hands. She was acting like she accidentally tripped, and Drita unfortunately fell on a knife.
That is the crucial difference between doing a villainous action and actually being a villain. A true villain twists the knife and asks if you like the handle.
Yes.
Christine stabbed her and then offered her a Band-Aid and a tissue. It was pathetic. It lacked conviction.
Pathetic. Now let's talk about Kate.
Kate is a fascinating study in apathy as a weapon.
Kate is peak villain energy, purely because of her absolute, unwavering refusal to participate in the charade of the game, literally refusing to campaign for $200,000 because she couldn't be bothered to make small talk with people she hated.
It's iconic. It belongs in the Louvre.
It is the most baller move I have ever seen on television.
None.
I don't like you. I'm not going to pretend to like you for your vote. Keep your money. I'm going back to my hotel.
She really did that.
She essentially told the entire jury to go straight to hell.
It was pure, unadulterated hubris. And from a television standpoint, it was brilliant character work. But from a gameplay standpoint, as we discussed, it was strategic suicide.
I know. My heart breaks for her strategy. And then we have our winner, Drita.
The ultimate psychological villain.
See, I am still struggling with this. How is she the ultimate villain? She just cooked meatballs and told people to have a good night.
Listen to me very closely. She didn't have to backstab anyone because the entire house was utterly terrified of her.
That is true. They were scared.
She operated on the implied threat of violence without ever lifting a finger. She ruled that house through a combination of fear and maternal loyalty. Think about the blind side. When Christine betrayed her, Drita didn't cry in a corner.
She definitely didn't cry.
She openly, loudly threatened to poison the jury against Christine, and she successfully did it. She mobilized an angry mob from the redemption bench. That is mafia boss behavior. That is true villainy. She didn't need to yell. She just needed to whisper to the right people.
Okay, when you put it like that, the alligator jaws snapped, and she dragged Christine completely under the swamp. She drowned her chances.
Precisely. Now, speaking of the blind side, what was the moment that had you screaming at the screen the loudest? What was the shocker?
I mean, it has to be the exact moment Christine said Drita's name. I need to relive the physiology of that moment.
Take me back.
The way the room went dead silent, you could hear a pin drop. The way Joel McHale's eyebrows shot so far up his forehead they almost left his face.
It was the explicit violation of an unspoken social contract. They had an agreement, a blood pact, and Christine just shredded it on live television for a slight statistical advantage.
But honestly, the moments that had me screaming the absolute most weren't even the gameplay. It was the fourth wall breaks.
Yep.
The behind-the-scenes chaos leaking into the final edit.
Oh, the producers were clearly working overtime, sweating through their headsets this episode.
Yes. First, the producer physically stepping into the frame in the hallway to beg Kate to campaign. We never, ever see that on this show.
Never.
The desperation in that producer's eyes knowing Kate was actively throwing away the climax of their finale.
They needed a close vote. They needed tension, and Kate was staring at them with blank eyes saying, no.
And then, the producer having to go fetch Plain Jane's breast forms from the hotel room.
An utterly absurd task. Imagine being a production assistant.
Right.
You went to film school, and now you are sprinting through the hallways of a Marriott clutching silicone breastplates because a drag queen needs them for a reaction shot.
I was dying laughing. And let's not forget Tyson and Jackie completely raiding the crew's coffee stash.
That was such a subtle but hilarious detail in the background. They are eliminated, they are bored out of their minds waiting in the lair, so they just start wandering into the production garage.
Just so unbelievable.
Stealing the craft service's espresso because they don't want to make their own drip coffee. It shows a complete villainous disregard for the boundaries of a television set.
True villain behavior is stealing a Grips espresso machine. I loved it. Okay, let's break down the overall gameplay of the season. Who actually played smart? Let's put the entertainment factor aside and look at the resumes.
This is where we have to firmly separate the character from the player. Let's look at the Kate argument first.
Defend Mother Kate.
She played a brilliantly executed uphill battle. Statistically speaking, she was the biggest, most obvious target from day one.
Huge target.
She got herself off the block when she was dead to rights. She manipulated the entire house with the diary chaos, which was a stroke of absolute genius. And she directly caused the elimination of massive threats like Johnny and Tom by outmaneuvering them.
She dominated the board.
But, and this is a massive fatal but, her social game was entirely passive. She relied on creating chaos to protect her, throwing smoke bombs to hide her tracks.
Yeah, she didn't talk to anyone.
Exactly. She never built the fundamental bedrock relationships required to secure jury votes at the end. She played a phenomenal survival game, but a terrible winning game.
Ugh, the truth hurts so much. Okay, what is the argument for Drita's gameplay?
The Drita argument is that she played a flawless, textbook, soft power social game. Absolute perfection. She constantly voted with the house consensus, meaning she never drew first blood or made unnecessary enemies.
So smart.
But crucially, she stayed loudly loyal to her fringe friends like Plain Jane, even when she knew mathematically they were going home.
That is so true. She would throw a vote to Plain Jane to stay, knowing Jane was leaving anyway, just to prove her loyalty for the cameras and the jury.
Exactly. It cost her absolutely nothing strategically, but it bought her massive, undeniable social capital. She made absolutely sure that when the dust settled, she was the person everyone on that jury wanted to hand a $200,000 check to.
The charisma.
She didn't outwit them on a whiteboard, she outcharmed them in the kitchen.
It's the soft power approach. I hate it for dramatic television, but I respect it immensely for the bank account.
Exactly. You can't argue with the check clearing.
All right. Time to get real. Time to look in the mirror and ask the tough questions. Would you compete? Be completely honest with me right now. Could you be a villain on national TV?
Oh, God. No.
For me, a chaotic, a resounding yes. Put me in, coach. Let me at them.
You would be an absolute unmitigated disaster, and I would host watch parties just to analyze your downfall.
I would spiral so hard. I would come in with a 40-page color-coded plan, and by hour 4, I would be flipping tables because someone looked at me weird while I was eating cereal.
It would be hour 2, honestly.
I would backstab my best allies just for the screen time, give a highly dramatic, tear-filled confessional about it, and then instantly regret it when they yelled at me. I would absolutely be banished by episode 3 for being way too loud in the morning.
You would be the sacrificial lamb of the first act. The house would unanimously vote you out just to get some peace and quiet.
I would go down in a blaze of glory. I would leave a legend. What about you, Mr. Strategy? Could you do it?
I am hesitant but intensely curious.
Oh, you would think you could outsmart them all. You would walk in there thinking you're playing 4D chess.
I absolutely would. My ego would be my downfall. I would sit in the corner of the house, overanalyzing the social dynamics, drawing little complex alliance webs in my notebook.
Oh, totally.
I would try to play the Paul Middle game, floating seamlessly between the power structures, making logical, unemotional moves.
And how exactly would that work out for you when the yelling starts?
I would fail catastrophically.
Why?
You know the game.
Because I have absolutely zero poker face. I wouldn't be able to hide my sarcastic facial expressions.
Well, that's true. You can.
The moment someone said something incredibly stupid or delusional, which happens roughly every 5 minutes in that house, my eyes would roll so far back into my head they would get stuck. the other villains would immediately realize I was quietly judging their intelligence, and they would vote me out for having arrogant vibes.
You would get caught rolling your eyes at a mob wife, and it would be instantly over for you. You wouldn't even make it to the hit list, cheers.
R.I.P. to my reality TV career. I will stick to podcasting.
Babes, we have unpacked it all. The finale chaos, the villain love, the incredible watch party madness. The spiked mango vibes are officially running low, which means it's time to wrap this up.
It has been a monumental journey. Season 3 really delivered on every single front.
It did. But now, we turn it over to you, the Snark Squad. We need your hot takes. We need your unfiltered opinions. We need your multi-paragraph essays in the comments.
Tell us, did the right person win? Or was Kate completely robbed of her crown?
Should the voting system change to the prisoner's dilemma to stop these popularity contest finales?
And babes, do you have what it takes to be a villain? Let us know. Rate, review, subscribe.
Send your submissions, your wildest theories, your completely unhinged thoughts.
Send this breakdown to your messiest friend, the one who loves the drama. Thank you, Snark Squad, for riding with us all season long. We love the mess, we love the drama, and we love you.
Stay sharp out there.
Stay ruthless, stay reckless, and we'll see you on the Snark side.